Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel. As you can see, I got a little microphone this time. So I wanted to start this video with giving you an update on my magical readathon. Last time I talked to you, it was about the novice path and my TBR for the novice path and what I was planning on reading for it. I'm not sure if you recall, I will link the novice path video that I posted below, but I had 7 books that were on the TBR for that. And of those books, as long as I read 2 of them, then technically I passed the novice path. And so I'm here to tell you that unfortunately I did not finish all 7 books. I did not get to read all of them. However, I did read 2 books. So technically, I completed the novice path and I successfully completed it since I was able to read 2 of the 7 books. So just as a kind of a quick recap for them, with the novice path, the first prompt was the novice path entrance. And so for that book, I had picked Ledge. And I unfortunately did not read this one yet. I still really want to read it, but it hasn't happened as of recording this video. The second one was for the Ashtorn Tree. And for that one, I had chosen the Veiled Kingdom, which this one I picked up to start. I had it on my bedside table. I was going to read it. And I just ended up in a different mood, and I think I opened it to like the first page, read the first page, and then I just realized I was not wanting to read this book right at that moment. And so I put it back down and read what I really was wanting to read, which I think at the time was the Addicted Callaway series, which I'm still currently reading. It's not the one I'm currently reading, but I am reading that series still. I'm in the middle of it. So I put this one down. I did not read this one. Then it was The Mist of Solitude, which was my choice was Beach Read, which is, I think this one was supposed to be a standalone, and so this was a standalone, and I did read this one, and I loved it. I gave it 5 stars. My full review is on my Instagram or Goodreads or Storygraph, actually. I do have that as well now. All the links are below. But I loved this one. And, you know, Emily Henry has always been kind of not that I didn't like her stories, they just weren't, I was just kind of like whatever about them. But this one, really good. I loved it. So I did finish this one. That was one of the 2 that I finished. The next one was for, Ruin of the Sky. And so for this one, I had chosen Her Soul to Take because I believe it had to be like a paranormal book or something like that. And this is a paranormal romance, dark romance about a demon and this girl. And I did finish this one. And it's actually the current series that I am finishing up now. I'm on the 3rd book currently. But I loved this one too. This one just gave such spooky vibes. I kind of wish that I would read it during spooky season in October around Halloween, just because it gave me those vibes completely. But regardless, this was the 2nd book I read or finished from my novice path TBR. And so with reading this one, I completed my novice path. And so, yeah, if you want the full review, definitely head over to my Goodreads or my my Instagram or my Storygraph. You know, wherever you like to look at reviews, it should be there. The only one I don't really post on is Amazon. I only post there if it's required of me, usually, just because I don't like they need to like approve the reviews and everything. So I just tend to forget about it. Going on, moving forward, my next, the next one was for the Obsidian Falls, which I believe just needed to be a book about mystery or something like that, and I had chosen The Starless Sea. I didn't read this one. I'm gonna be honest, I don't know, it doesn't really appeal to me that much. Like, it was kind of the only one I really had that kind of fit the prompt. Since, I've been trying to keep my choices for my prompts with books that I currently have on my bookshelves. So I don't know. I might be unhauling this one at some point just because I don't know if I'm ever going to want to read it, but that's what I had chosen. Didn't read it. For Tower of Rumination, I think it's how you say it. For that one, I had chosen The Dawn of the Cursed Queen by Amber Nicole. This is the third book in the Gods and Monsters series, and I actually completely thought I would get to this one because when I recorded the last video, I had just read the first two books in the series, and I really honestly I have no idea how I'm okay with just not reading it and going forward with the series yet. However, you'll see for the Autumn Equinox, I may or may not have chosen this one for my TBR again, but I'm very excited to get to it. But unfortunately, I did not get to it for the Novice Path. The next one was the Aurelium Academy. That's where you finally get there, and it's supposed to take place in a school setting, I believe was the prompt. And the book that I had chosen was The Dixon Roll by Elle Kennedy, and I've read all of Elle Kennedy's other books for the most part, at least when it comes to like Briar U and stuff. I didn't get to this one. I haven't gotten to it yet. I really have no excuse other than never got to it. And I do plan on still reading it at some point in the future. I'm not sure when I will read it exactly. I feel like it's a summer, beginning of school vibe time frame, but like right now I'm heavy into a dark romance phase, so I'll get to it eventually. But yeah, so of those 7, I read 2, Beach Read and Her Soul to Take. And so with that, I complete my novice path, and now we move forward. As of recording this video, I believe it was today that the announcement came out from Book Roast about the Autumn Equinox semester. And so now we have our prompts and we have everything to move forward with it. And so since I already completed 2 of the 7, I decided, I love that I had that TBR. I love that I was able to stick to at least 2 of them. But I'm going to move forward and create a new TBR for the Autumn Equinox semester, which starts in September. If you want more details on the Autumn Equinox semester or the Magical Readathon in general, definitely check out Book Roast's page, and I'll link the Autumn Equinox announcement down below. Okay, so starting this Autumn Equinox, so typically a student would already have completed the spring equinox, and so then moving into the autumn equinox, of course they make it a little bit more difficult with the prompts and what is required in order to pass the semester. However, I did not start in the spring, so I'm starting on this harder semester, but I'm not gonna wait until next spring to start. So with that, I'm just gonna continue with autumn. So in the spring, typically what happens is when you choose your calling, which a calling is basically just a major for what you want to be, basically what you're going to the school for. It helps or it determines what classes you're supposed to take, and the classes are where you get the prompts. And for spring semester, the classes that you take, as long as you take one class and the class has a prompt, and as long as you read one book that fits that prompt, you pass that class. However, in the autumn equinox, they introduce you to grades. And so basically what happens is you have 3 grade levels. You have ordinary, qualified, and distinguished grades that you can receive in each of these classes. And on your calling sheet, it tells you what grade you need in each subject that you're supposed to study, where you get your prompts. And each grade has a different prompt. So if you just need an ordinary in one of your classes, you just have to finish one prompt, which is for the ordinary. If one of your classes you need a qualified grade in, you would need to complete the ordinary prompt and the qualified prompt. And then same for distinguished. If you needed a distinguished in the class, you would need to finish the ordinary prompt, the qualified prompt, and the distinguished prompt. So depending on what grade you need in which class, you can have up to 3 books that you need to complete for a given class. And so with all that said, obviously Book Roast, if you go follow her page and look at her videos, like she explains it all much better and in detail. So definitely head over that way if you want to participate. But for me going forward in Autumn Equinox, obviously I didn't complete the Spring Equinox semester since I'm starting now, but I'm going to move forward regardless. So what I chose as my calling is a Star Whisperer, which basically just means that that calling talks to the stars and the cosmos and gets advice, gets advice. They get sometimes the cosmos will tell them like the future, like all kinds of cool things like that. They're typically dreamy, imaginative, and attentive. Like those are some of the key traits for Star Whisperers, which I think fits me pretty perfectly. And so with that, for my Autumn Equinox, I need a ordinary in Art of Illusion. I need a distinguished in astronomy. I need an ordinary in lore, and I need a distinguished in psionics and divination. I'm not sure if I'm even saying psionics correctly. I think that's how you say it. So that totals to 8 books. And so we're going to go through each one of them. So for ordinary in Art of Illusion, the prompt is an image generator. So you get an emoji generator. It's a random emoji generator, and I already did mine before this video. I will put a picture here of the emoji, but the emoji that randomly got selected for me is the 2 girls dancing, and to me, I instantly thought of twins. So the book that I'm choosing for this, I'm just choosing a book with twins, is Zodiac Academy 9. I'll put a picture here. I've read all the way up to 8. I don't think I've read 8.5 yet, or Live and Let Lionel, I think is what it's called, which I think are just novellas. So I will probably just have to read 8.5 before I get to ZA9. But the Twisted Sisters have scared me, which is why I put it off. I know it came out already a little bit ago, but I'm hoping to complete it in this prompt. And yeah, it's about 2 twins. The Zodiac Academy is, and so that's why I chose Zodiac Academy 9 for the 2 girls dancing emoji. And if I complete that, that'll get me an ordinary in Art of Illusion. So that's my plan. For the next one, I need to distinguish in astronomy. So that's 3 books for astronomy. The first one that gets you an ordinary is the constellation Cradle. So basically, the prompt is a book related released in your birth month. This one was kind of hard to find just because I don't pay attention too closely to when books are released, unless it's like one I'm like highly anticipating. But for this one, I ended up choosing, I have it here, Where's Molly? By H.D. Carlton. This one is just like, it's a little novella, so I'm trying to hopefully make it easier on me so that I can just finish this one. Hopefully, this one would take me a couple hours to finish probably. So Where's Molly by H.D. Carlton. It came out February of this last year. Since my birthday is in February, this one qualifies. And So that's what I chose. Where's Molly? I think it's a spin-off of the Cat and Mouse duet. So if you've read that one, definitely check out Where's Molly if you enjoyed it and want to continue. It's about, this is the girl, I believe, in the Cat and Mouse duet. There's a diary. I'm trying not to give spoilers, so if this is spoilers, sorry. You can skip ahead, but there's a diary with a girl named Molly. It's her diary that has been left behind, and so this is her story. That's, I think, as much as I can tell you without really spoiling anything. But yeah, so if you read Cat and Mouse Duet, definitely check this out. I'm going to, hopefully. So that will get me an ordinary in astronomy. And then the next one, to get a qualified in astronomy, I would need it. The prompt is a constellation castle. So basically, it just needs to be a castle on the cover. For this one, it was kind of hard to find because I felt like most of the books that had castles on the covers that I have, I've already read. But the one I have chosen is Gothicana. I think that's how you say it, by Equinox. I've read like The Predator and that whole series by Equinox and really enjoyed her writing. So I'm really excited to get this one. This one, if you can see, so right here, it looks like a castle to me. I don't know if there's even a castle in this book. I think it's like a dark romance, but dark like academia kind of book. So I have no idea if there's even a castle in this, but I'm excited to see regardless. And to me, this looks like a castle. If you disagree, I'm sorry. This is my magical readathon. No, but seriously though, like it looks like a castle to me, so that's why I picked it. And it's the closest I could get. So that's what I chose for that one. With that book, I would get a qualified in astronomy, as long as I read the other one. Then the third to get a distinguished in astronomy, the constellation is a dice. And so basically with this one, what you do is you roll a d6 dice, which I have here. And I already previously rolled it, and I got a 5. I don't know if you can even tell, but I got a 5. And that just means that you need to read a book that's between 501 and 600 pages. So this is where earlier I told you I may be repurposing, and I am. So with this one, I'm going to read Dawn of the Cursed Queen by Amber Nicole, which, as if you recall, I did have it on my novice path. But I looked at it, and it's like around 540 pages, I believe. And so I'm going to read it. And that's going to be with that one, and Gothicana, and Where's Molly? These 3. With those 3, I will have gotten a distinguished in astronomy. And so then we can move on. And so the next class is ordinary in lore. And so for an ordinary in lore, basically it's just the prompt is Ilturian history. I'm not sure if I'm even saying that correctly. I think it's basically like, so Aurelium is the university. It's where the university resides, like the continent or the world that they live, that it's from. And so for that history, the prompt is a vampire book, just to read a vampire book. And so what I have chosen is Bride by Ali Hazelwood, because all I know about this book is it's about a vampire who has to marry a werewolf, and they're like mortal enemies or something like that, and it's like enemies to lovers. That's literally all I know about this book. It was really popular, and I know a lot of people enjoyed it, so I'm excited to see what I think of it. I've never read Ali Hazelwood before, even though I own so many of her books. But I'm excited to get to this one. So I chose Bride for my vampire book, and that will get me an ordinary in lore. Then I need to get a distinguished in psionics and divination. And so for this one, 3 more books. And what I have chosen, so for ordinary, the prompt is rewind time. So you basically have to choose a book from your favorite author, and it has to be their debut. Well, what's hard about this one for me, why I struggled with picking a book for this one, was because a lot of my favorite authors, I've read all of their books because they're my favorite authors. So can't read a book I've already read for this. I mean, I think you probably could. I mean, I'm making the rules, right? I mean, there's rules, but like they're very lenient. However, I have a new author that I don't even think she's new technically, but I just discovered her this year, and her name is Shay Ruby. And I have been lucky to get her last 2 arcs for her last 2 most recent books, and I just really love her and her writing, and I trust her as a writer. And I love her as a person also. Definitely check her out if you haven't yet. If you enjoy spicy romance books, she's definitely caught that. But from my research, her debut was Shattered Heart. It's called Shattered Hearts, and I don't have the actual physical book, so I'll put a picture again off to my left. I think it's your right, but my left. But I haven't read it, and so I'm gonna read that one because I just trust her and I love her. And Shattered Hearts, I think, is her debut. It came out in 2022, according to Goodreads, which is where I looked to try to find a debut book for an author that I really love. I know nothing about it. I'm gonna be honest, I know nothing about it. I didn't really hear of her until I saw on Instagram that she was looking for ARC readers for her Stay With Me book, and I applied, I got it, and then, I just fell in love. So definitely gonna check that one out. So that will get me an ordinary in psionics and divination. To get a qualified in psionics and divination, it is significance of recurrence. So for this one, you just need a book that has the same letter that appears in the title 4 more times. When I tell you, this one took me, I feel like, so long to find, just because if we're being honest, most titles don't even have enough words to have enough letters that appear that many times. So it has to be a longer title. And a lot of my longer titles are really big fantasy series, and I just don't feel like getting into that for this, in my opinion. And so what I ended up finding and discovering is the one I chose, Assistant to the Villain, because there are 4 T's in this title, and everyone loves it. I know she just came out with, or she's coming out with soon, the second book in the series, and so I'm gonna read this one and see how I like it, and then I can read the second one, and hopefully it'll get me, if I read it towards the end of the month, it'll hopefully start to get me into that kind of like spooky Halloween vibes. But we'll see. So Assistant to the Villain would get me a qualified, if I read that one and the Shattered Hearts, it would get me a qualified in psionics and divination. So that's my choice for that one. And then the final book in this TBR, which would get me a distinguished in psionics and divination, is Intro to Tarot 2. So since it has a 2 at the end, I'm assuming there was an Intro to Tarot in the first spring equinox, but unfortunately didn't get that. So I get 2. But basically, it's just you base your book based on a randomly generated tarot card, which obviously, if you have physical tarot cards, you can just randomly pick one, and that would be your tarot card. And since my sister did give me as a gift tarot cards that I'm still gotta learn to use, I just went in and I randomly chose one. Obviously didn't look at them all. I just went in there and picked it out. And so the one that I got is Ace of Wands. I'm not sure. This might be hard to see. because there's like this iridescent thing on it. I'll like turn it this way maybe. It's called Ace of Wands. Anyway, that's a tarot card that I chose, or that I got randomly. And for this one, it just made me instantly think of like magic, which is that kind of vibe. And so for this one, you just base it off of like either the name or something on the tarot card, the color of the tarot card. You kind of can really take whatever liberties you need to fit this one. So since I instantly went to like witches and magic and that kind of vibe, the book I chose is The Very Secret Society of Irregular Witches. This one was really popular last year around this time, and I got it because I wanted more books for my like Halloween spooky season, and I never read it. So I'm hoping to read it during this, and with this one, The Assistant to the Villain and the Shattered Hearts book, that will get me a distinguished in psionics and divination. And if I could get all these grades in these different things, then I will have passed the Autumn Equinox. So most of these books I don't know anything about, or I know very little about. And so I'm very excited to see kind of where they take me and how this goes. So obviously with all of those completing, since this is my first semester officially in Aurelium so far, I am a little nervous about the whole grade thing. I was kind of, I guess I just didn't realize that was how that was going to go at first. Like I did, but I didn't think I would have so many books for the one that I wanted. However, I'm excited regardless to try it out. I think I stuck I completed 2 of my Novice Path TBR, so we'll see how many I complete of this one. But my plan is to still complete it. That's a plan. We will see if I get there. But yeah, I'm very excited to go and do this. If you know, if you've read any of these books, or if you are part of the Aurelium, the world, and you are joining me on this magical readathon, definitely let me know in the comments, or feel free to DM me on Instagram if you want. I'm always active over there and open to talking books and talking with new people and meeting new people, especially through books, because I don't have a lot of real life people who I can talk to about books. So if you want to talk to me about books, definitely DM me. I'm very active over on Instagram if you want full length like reviews and my favorite quotes for these books, for any books that I review. I put those all over in a nice little graphic on Instagram. If you don't like Instagram, don't have Instagram, don't want Instagram, but you have a Goodreads or Storygraph, I also put my reviews there. So definitely, and that's where it's going to have my most up to date reading status, as far as what book I'm currently reading, or what book I'm currently on, or which one I just recently finished, and my very recent reviews go there. Like I'm kind of backlogged a little as far as like post on Instagram for my reviews, but on Goodreads or Storygraph you'll get them right away, and you'll know exactly where I am in my book too. I try to keep really consistent with posting on there as far as where I'm at. But so if you want to follow me real time, for this magical readathon, definitely check me out over on Goodreads or Storygraph. But otherwise, thank you for just listening to me babble on about this magical readathon, and giving you my update with where I'm at currently with it. If you enjoyed this video, definitely please like and comment, and definitely subscribe if you're enjoying my content, or if you want to keep updated on where I'm at in this magical readathon. I'm very excited to continue, and I'm hoping I can talk more with people on the Discord for the magical readathon. Definitely check out Book Roast if you want to check out in detail about the world about the whole magical readathon, how it works, what you need to do to join it. Not that you need to officially join it in anything, but she has a Discord that you can connect with other people who are also completing the magical readathon, which is pretty cool. So definitely check out her page for that, all of that. I will link her announcement video below, like I said before. But yeah, thank you for watching, and I'll see you next time.